Hey, it's Jen from You So Much. I'm here today with another Giggle Out Loud review, and this is going to be part 2 of my static nails review. So if you haven't had a chance to watch that video and you're interested in static nails, I highly recommend you go back and watch that. But today I'm going to talk about some more things that I've learned after using a few more sets and also some fun things you can do with it. So let's get into it. So this time I've got on their white canvas color, and it comes in the shorter length. But what I discovered was the shorter length is not all that short. I was actually surprised because when I saw the pictures, I thought, oh no, there might be a little too short for me. But then when I put them on, they were actually just a little bit too long. And that is because mainly I do type, and so I just can't have them too long. It's just, it gets in the way of me getting my work done in a quick fashion. So I just couldn't have them too long. And I think the other reason why that they are extra long on me, even though they're short length, is that I have really small fingers. I have small hands, small fingers, super small, tiny fingernails. And so I think maybe for the average person, they will end up being a little bit shorter, but for me, they weren't as short as I was hoping they would be. So that's something to keep in mind too, because we all have different size hands, right? We have different size nails and nail beds. And so it always is gonna be a little bit different on each person. So it's a matter of kind of getting used to your preference and how you like them on you. The other thing that I discovered too was that because when you put them on, and you press them to your nail, they do kind of tend to wrap around the nail, right? So they kind of will stick to the glue and they'll press down and wrap right around your nail, which totally makes sense. That's what you want them to do. However, I think when you do that, the size of them makes your nail look a little bit larger than your natural nail would look. And I think that's because when your natural nails grow out, they kind of grow out at sort of a curve and they kind of end up being a little bit smaller. And when you put these on and then you cut them shorter, they end up looking a little bit wider than your typical nail would look. So what I tried this time was I tried using a little bit smaller size than I thought. Just maybe like a 1 size or a half size down from what I would normally use. And that ended up looking so much more natural on my nails, especially when I cut them, because when you cut them, they end up looking even more wide, right? And so I highly recommend that you consider that when you're putting them on. Of course, you're gonna experiment with them and see how you like them, because you just may not even wanna cut them, and you might wanna keep them just as they are, and they look a little bit more natural if you just don't cut them at all. So that is one thing I will say too, is that's kind of one of the disadvantages of cutting them. But they do come with this little nail file, right? And so you can file them down to kind of like to the shape you kind of prefer a little bit and make them look like a little bit more natural on your fingers. But they do a really good job. I've noticed all the shapes that I have gotten, they do a good job of making them kind of look like they're a natural kind of extension of your nail. They kind of go in at an angle just like your normal nails would. So that's one of the reasons why the shape that they already come in is just like kind of perfect. So when you mess with that and you cut them, it is gonna affect it. And then after I made my last video, one of the things that happened was they reached out to me again, which is so amazing. Their customer service is so good. I put it up on Instagram and they reviewed it and sent me a note. I mean, what great service, right? I talked about this in the last video and they did it again. So I put that information in the description in the last video and you can go check it out. But one of the things that they mentioned was if you cut them down in certain colors, they're not going to, the color won't last as long if you cut them. And I think that's because they're gel effects nails. I think those colors are all the way through the nail versus like the one that I tried on in the last one, which was the black with the red. Those colors aren't all the way through, right? Because it's got black on the front and red on the other side. And so I think when you cut them, the colors are more susceptible to like kind of sort of peeling off a little bit. And so just keep that in mind if you do decide to cut them or file them. So again, another reason why it's, if you can live with the shape they already sent you, all the better. But they are flexible and they do work if you file them down. That's what's so great about them. So you don't have to keep the shape that they have, but their shapes are so beautiful anyway. It's like you kind of want to keep them if you can anyway, right? So I've had these on for about a week, and after about a week is when they kind of start popping off. Now, if you didn't put enough glue on them, they'll come off even sooner. And you can do that on purpose if you really only want to wear them for a couple of days. You can put less glue on. But these lasted a good week this time, and then they just sort of started popping off. And so what happens is when they start popping off, you can just reapply them and put them back on, which is what I've done. Now, as you can imagine though, they sometimes pop off when you're not noticing, right? You're digging through your purse or you're walking about at Target and they pop pop off and you don't notice them, and so you can't recover the same exact nail to reapply. And so when that happens, obviously there's a few extras in the box that you can reapply again to kind of make sure that you have the full manicure. So I will say though, after a while, you're just gonna end up losing them all. And even though they are reapplyable, you're probably gonna have to order another box eventually if you really like that color and you wanna keep wearing them. So that's something to keep in mind also. But I thought today would be fun to show you, because in this hand, I reapplied this one. I don't know if you can tell that that one is a little bit longer than the other ones that I have on. And that's because this one was a brand new one that I reapplied on after it popped off. And so I thought it'd be fun to show you today what it looks like when the difference between when I cut it and file it down to match the other ones. And then I thought it'd also be fun to apply some Color Street nail tips. Now I know I've talked about this before. If you are a fan of Color Street or don't know about them, you should check them out. They're basically nail strips that are like stickers. Some people call them nail stickers, but they're made out of real nail polish and they stick really well to nails. Now, one of the things that's awesome about static nails is that you could apply fingernail polish color to them. So let's say you wear these for a week and you reapply them and you're like, I don't want to keep doing white. I want to do something a little different. You can use regular nail polish. And Static Nails actually has their own specially patented nail polish as well. And I actually bought a couple of colors, and right now I also bought the clear one. So today I'm gonna apply some Color Street nail tips, because they actually have a gold French manicure. I'm gonna show you how cool you can make your static nails look. You can even make them look even cooler if you want. And then I'm gonna use the clear color on top. But before we do that, I also wanted to let you know that the other thing that Static Nails told me in their message was that if you paint a matte color, like the ones I tried on last time, which were black with red, the black color won't stay matte anymore, which totally makes sense, right? So one of the things I mentioned in that video, I saw someone apply a glitter nail polish on top of the black matte, which looked really cool. But of course, then it's not gonna be black matte anymore. It looks like a shiny black with glitter on top, right? So that's also something to keep in mind, is when you use nail polish on top of the matte color, it does change it a little bit. It's not gonna stay exactly the same. And I'm sure you have noticed at the grocery stores, they actually now have matte top coats that can take a color and convert it sort of to a matte color. So I'm curious, maybe in my third video, we'll try doing that with the Static Nails and see if it converts it to sort of a matte color. Stay tuned for that. In the meantime, let's cut this one down just a little bit and file it to match my other fingers. And then we will apply the Color Street nail tips and you can take a look at it. Okay, so now this one's a little bit longer, so we are gonna cut that one down. And one of the things I noticed about the Static Nails is that they had this really beautiful shape that goes in. So I wanted to kind of keep that shape, but I really only am cutting just a little bit off. You can tell it's not like a lot longer than these other ones, it's just a little bit longer. I just cut a little bit off the edge there, a little bit off the edge here. And then now it looks a little pointy, so we're gonna cut off the length a little bit. And then in order to keep kind of a similar shape, I'm just gonna kind of use my clippers a little bit more. And then I'm gonna use a nail file. Now, one of the things I always recommend to people is to use a glass nail file, because it will not tear your nails. So this goes for your regular fingernails as well, because glass is not going to tear it like this is kind of like sandpaper, and it kind of is actually tearing your nail. But I did notice that the static nail file that they sent with the packet, which is this little one right here, actually works really great as kind of like a finishing touch. The thing is though, whenever you use a nail file like this, you want to go only in one direction. Whereas with a glass nail file, you can go in both directions and it won't be tearing the nail. So in order to file this down and then see how I can go back and forth, just like that. All right, so now that it's all shaped up evenly, I feel pretty good about it. I'm gonna do the Color Street nail tips. So Color Street nail tips, like I mentioned, are so simple and easy. You can do them really fast, and they're actually made of real nail polish. That's perfect. So with Color Street nails, all you have to do is just tuck it under, and it really does just kind of stick to your nails like stickers. And yay, they're done. Aren't they so pretty? The gold with the white is just super classy. And I got 2 manicures out of the one set because I reapplied and did something fun and new by using the Color Street tips. Like I said, you can use your own nail polish. You could even do some fun nail art on it because you can apply the nail art before you actually apply it on your fingers. Wouldn't that be cool? For all you artists out there, I would love to see you experiment with that and give it a try. If you guys have any questions about static nails or about Color Street, I'd love to know. Leave it in the comments below. And please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And as always, remember that you're never too much. So just be you so much. Thanks you guys for being here. See you next time.